go. This is Matt from the Dice of the Round Table. This is going to be a solo, me playing by myself with Victory at Seas. I have the demo box from Warlord that I'm showing off and been showing off in my videos. This one, it's going to be a Japanese and American fleets. I have 2 Japanese destroyers and a cruiser versus 2 American cruisers and a destroyer. It's just missing by a couple points. I was toying with the idea of doing some airplanes, but I don't know. I got to figure out what I want to do with tokens for that. I was thinking something, but I want to just show off the scenarios in this one. So what we have here, let me pull it up. In Victory at Seas, how the objectives work is you agree on a point battle. So, for example, I said 380 or 400, whatever you want to set the point battle at. Then there's a chart, and each player is going to get their objective. There is a recommended chart of what you want to play to make it more balanced. So let me just get it. So what it is attrition versus destroy, attrition versus fighting retreat, breakout for versus defense line, destroy versus last stand, sweep and clear versus defense line. So they're considering those battle objectives to be balanced against each other. Or you can just randomly roll. And to see what the random roll would do, I did random roll. For random roll, I rolled up, for the Americans, a fighting retreat. So the Americans are aiming to remove half their fleet off the board. So they got to move across the board and get off. So, and move at least half your ships off your own table edge and score the most victory points to achieve a major victory. We'll talk about that in a minute. The Japanese got domination. Their goal is to divide this board up in 4 sections and have 1 ship at least sitting in each section, or in 3 of those sections for a major victory. Anything else is going to be more of a draw. Where this comes in is, at the end of the game, you determine who got the objectives and determine who got the win. But that's not all. There's a priority level of high, medium, and low. If you have a high priority, whatever the point battle is, you get a bonus 10%. If it's medium, you get the standard battle. If it's low, you're fighting at a 10% discount according to the rules. That's a major element, especially when we're going to be talking about, I don't know what the standard game is going to be. I'm guessing it's going to be like 1,200 to 1,500 points, because right now 380 is 3 ships and maybe some airplanes. So I'm going to get to the board and get the setup going. Thanks for joining me, and let me get back to the table. So what I'm saying is, I'm also going to be playing for scouting, which I've never done in my other videos and really haven't talked too much about. So I'm going to, as a Japanese player, I'm going to deploy both of my destroyers on scouting mission. And for the Americans, nothing, because the Americans are in a fighting retreat. They need to get off the board. So I'm going to go to the scouting rules. When the enemy is known in the area, both players should secretly remove all destroyers and cruisers they intend to use for scouting from their fleet before deployment. So I'm going to start deployment. My deployment field, I'm going to say, is from here to here, the middle 2 grids of the map. This is the plus side using Warlord's folded map. It kind of grids it off already, because I know I have 1 grid here, a grid here, and grid here for domination scoring for the Japanese. So it is alternating deployment. Let me get some dice. I gotta get my damage markers out here too. So American destroyer has 6, Cruiser has 23. Japanese has 7 on the destroyer. No, that's the cruiser. The cruiser is 30. Japanese destroyer has 5 and 5. So initiative, Japanese got a 8, Americans got an 8. Let's re-roll. Japanese 6, Americans 8. Americans have initiative. Force Japanese to deploy first, but Japanese only has 1 ship. And they're going to deploy it sitting right here. Americans are next. I think I'm going to go a full cruiser and destroyer to guard on the other side. Now I'm going to finish reading the scouting setup because I am deploying scouts. Take these off. We have in every end phase. So at the end phase, I'm going to roll a d6 to determine if the destroyers they committed scouting. On a roll of 6, the ship has returned to the fleet. So as a Japanese player, I am playing with my both destroyers only showing up on a 6. However, I get scouting points. So I have 2 destroyers on scouting. If I had deployed the cruiser 2, I would have the observation flights. So actually the cruisers would give me, what is it? A cruiser has, over here, aircraft 3. So it actually would give me 3 aircraft rolls. So deploying a cruiser seems to be more beneficial on scouting, but I have every dice that rolls a 5 or 6 will earn the player 1 scout point. So my 2 destroyers, I got double 6s. That is amazing. So I got 2 scout points. Add 1 to your roll for initiative each turn for the entire battle. That is my fleet advantage, and that is in a box, charts galore everywhere, right up here. And if you're wondering what's the most you could get on a 10 or more as above, and so you get this and it stacks. So each one of these, you get the one above it. So as a 10, if you got all scouting points, you add 1 to your initiative. Carriers can be deployed in deep deployment, which means they're off the board, safe, but launching aircraft. You redeploy any number of ships, including any scouts in your enhanced deployment zone. And carriers may start with half their flights in the air. You get 1 plus the first one to your initiative roll. And if you get 10 or more scouting points, carriers may start with all their ships in the air. They may redeploy all ships, and they get 2 to their initiative rolls. So that kind of gives you some creativity on what you can do. So that's that. I have turned down, and I'm going to get going on this. Really quick, I'm going to show you how I have my cards set up. Let me move the camera. On the side of the table is my cards. So I use glass beads for my damage, and over there and knickknacks. And those are the 2 Japanese destroyers on recon. As a Japanese player in this scenario, my objective, and you can keep me honest as my audience of who's here, is I need to take out 2 ships. So my goal is probably a cruiser and a destroyer. I need to remove them from the table. Because if I kill 2 ships, there is no way the Americans are getting off the table with a major win, because they need to get 2 ships off. Americans player, I am moving full bore out there and hoping that these Japanese destroyers do not show up somewhere and get me a torpedo barrage. Now, The other aspect I wanted to play was the special rule for Japanese. I'm trying to do it all. Fan salvo. Any ship capable of firing 3 or more attack dice of Type 93 torpedoes. I got my cruiser. It has Type 3. It has 12 attack dice. May launch a single fan salvo after fleets have been deployed but before battle begins, with the intention of hitting multiple enemies. Roll 1d6 for every ship taking part in the fan salvo. This will expand the ship's torpedoes for the battle, if they're a one-shot. If they're slow loading, they will reload. A random ship will be hit for it on a roll of a 6. I got one chance, but you never know. And they are slow loading, which is okay because they're going to be reloaded again. And I got a 6. So that's going to be very bad. Capable of firing 3 or more attack dice. So the Japanese not only have 2 destroyers on scout, they triggered their salvo. So let me go to attack dice for torpedoes, because a ship is going to be whacked with a barrage of torpedoes, which is going to be an awesome start for the Japanese. Da, 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 da. I don't have all this memorized. I'm sorry. Okay, damage, torpedoes, damage, dice. So we already know it's been damaged. So actually, let me do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. So it's on the far cruiser. Boom. So it is hit. Damage dice. Every weapon system has a damage dice. Now it's not very clear, so I'm going to add all the damage dice up. And that's a 12 damage dice attack. So 2, 4, that's 6 here. And let me grab 6 more. I think this is like one of the few times you're going to be rolling this many dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoever's joined in, thanks for joining again. I am in the beginning part of this. I have done a fan spread that was a special rule for the Japanese player after everything's deployed, and the cruiser actually hit. Devastating weapon is what calls amount of equal to what each damage dice actually rolls. In addition, a critical hit scored every damage dice that rolls a 5 or 6. So this is just as bad as it's going to get. Six, 5, 6. So I got 3, 5, 8, 10, 13, 16, 17, 18. That's 18 on regular. So we're going to label this one. That's 3. Let's see, that's 3, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's only got 15 left, and I have another 22 on here. So that's going to take out the cruiser. So right now, this is very interesting. This was one of my things I looked at when we were talking about the special rules, that the Japanese really are the only one with a big plus. And the issue with these small scale things, I just wanted to see how this scenario would play out. So right off the bat, with a fan shot, with a good roll of a 6, the Japanese have taken out one cruiser like that with a spread of torpedoes, and it's still available to fire another spread because they're slow loading, which means we got to get the cruiser and the destroyer across the board for the Americans to have any chance for a draw. The Americans are playing for a draw right now, it feels like. So we'll see what happens through the game. Here we go. I had initiative already rolled. Da 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 dee dee da da. Sorry, just checking something. And okay. So we got need this. Not feeling so good. Japanese got a 3. Americans got a 10. Americans have initiative. Which means Japanese do have to go first. It's got 7, but it's got a. This is the. I will say this is the downside. So I've used this mat I think 3 times, and it has ripped in the middle. My Cruel Seas one has not. So I can make a turn if you remember, because all Japanese ships are, or the cruiser and the destroyer are agile. So I can actually turn after every one, but I really am not in much of a desire to them and get some broadsides involved. So something like that, that's activated. That's activated. Now the Americans, the destroyer moves 6, and the destroyer moves 7, the cruiser moves 6. Now I'm going to go 3. I am going to turn him. Oh, you know what? Angle away. And 6. The destroyer already has a lead on the cruiser. I don't want it too much. The cruiser, I want to move up. I picked this side of the map because it was not as dark as the other one. Now let's get this bridge aligned here. Max turn. Move 2. I'm going to max turn this thing. And yeah, 2 more. Right there. And that's that is one downside with this tool. And the bases. Okay, so they can shadow each other. They both have activated. Now my shooting. Let's see. I do appreciate the 2 people that have tuned in. I hope you're enjoying. Questions, comments. If you have a suggestion, let me know. I will probably try it because this is just for fun. Okay, so I know there is a chance that we might have some range. I kind of wish that there was a battleship I had, but I don't have a 3D printer and I don't have access to get any of that stuff to try to proxy. Oh. Even though I was thinking about using some of these just regular tokens for aircraft in a game. I kind of am disappointed how this all is going because I feel like the Americans really are just messed over here. Let's see if the destroyer can do. What am I looking for? He's got front guns. He's got his light guns. And what is it? It's light guns, only 1 attack dice may be fired in the front and aft arcs. And it has 3 attack dice. And he's only going to have it in the front because the side is not going to see it. So let's see if it's got 18 inches. There are 18 inches. What is the exact range? 15. That's going to put it in extreme. And if I remember correctly, extreme for the destroyer and Americans is forget it. It's not going to happen. But I will just double check. So the modifiers, target is extreme range -2. The target moved, so -1. So right there, it's done. Because remember, I need a 4 or more on a D6. And a 6 is not automatic, which means 6 minus 4 it was 1, 2, -3. 6 minus 3 puts me at a 3. There is no shot. So I'm going to trigger this as already gone. Now, the Japanese cruiser has, we know the destroyer is in 15 inches. Do I want the destroyer? Because I'm going to be at long range, because they've already measured for me. It would be -1, -2, so it was -3, so that's not going to work. So, but the cruiser is not fast moving because the cruiser only moves 6. So let's target the cruiser. We're going to ignore the destroyer. I have a full broadside, and the cruiser is at 19 inches. And remember, you measure for bridge to bridge. 19 inches puts me at long range. And that will move this down. Okay, long range, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 guns, 10 dice. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 dice. It is at long range, so -1. Not fast moving, not stationary, so it's a -1. So right now I need 5+ to make this hit. Oh, you know what? Let me just get the dice tray. I'll get the dice tray and make this really fancy looking. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 are hits. Now we're going to calculate our damage dice. Up there. So damage dice is 1 each. So I'm going to keep that. Damage. Once hits are scored on target, it's time to see what damage has been caused. Every weapon system has a damage dice scored. This is the number of D6 rolled for every attack dice that was a success. So 6 successes, 6 damage dice. So I need the resulting number on each damage dice is then compared to the target's armor value. For every damage dice that equals or exceeds the armor value, I score 1 point of damage. Natural ones automatically miss. Each damage dice that rolls a natural 6 has the potential to also cause a critical. For every 6, roll the D6 again. If no damage was dealt to the target ship due to the ship's armor, even if on this roll you get a 4 or more, then you, in addition to causing any damage as normal, you will also score a critical. Plunging fire, because this gun's going arcing, I get a +1 to these rolls. And the cruiser's armor is 2+. So 2+, no matter what, I don't care. I don't want 1s. So plunging fire doesn't help. 1 miss. There are natural 6 are criticals. So this does 5 points of damage to the Northampton, which puts it at 18. Okay. That has activated the Northampton. We know range is 19. So I'm at long range, except for I do not have a side arc. Because the side arc is not. So I got front guns. And my front guns, I have 2. So the benefit for the Americans is they have 3 dice per turret, where the Japanese only get 2. So the Japanese can split fire more. The Americans can't, but the Americans get more concentration. So again, I don't have I do have the target side, so I have large silhouette. So I get a -1, +1, but the target moves fast, so a -1 to my rolls. So I need 5 or more to hit. That was spectacularly bad. Okay. The Americans missed. This is not the Americans' day. And you know what? It's a fighting with retreat, so it makes perfect sense, I guess, because they're in a panic, I guess, trying to get away. We're at the end phase. There's no escalation of damage to the ships because there was no critical scored. However, because I have 2 scout ships, at the end of in every end phase, I roll 1d6. They're the same ships, so it doesn't matter. And I get a 6 again for the Japanese. So the Japanese, on a roll of 6, that ship has returned to the fleet and may join the battle. It will move on from any point along a random edge in the next movement phase. So I have this ship now joining the game from its scouting mission. It will join from a random edge. So for the Americans, as long as it's not in the backfield here, I think it might be okay. However, let's roll for initiative. Japanese are a 3, Americans are a 1. Japanese have initiative, which means Americans must move. I am going to try something. I want to initiate on the... Oh, does it not have... Oh, really quick, looking at this. I want to be kind of clever, or I thought I was going to be clever. Does it have to say smoke? No, it doesn't say. So I'm going to have the destroyer create smoke this turn. So it's going to move. I'm just having it move 3. And I'm going to pop smoke behind it. There are smoke counters. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can do something with this. There we go. See if I can get a better angle up. All right, so I've now popped smoke. Smoke blocks line of sight. So hopefully it'll protect the cruiser. Probably not. For the Japanese, let's go 2. Align the bow and bridge. That's 2. That's 5. Yeah. 6, 7. And I think, there we go. That's better. Let's turn this way. Okay, that's activated. That's activated. I think the smoke is going to get in the way. Northampton is going to go 3 and stop. So it's going to park itself right behind the smoke. And the Japanese, I'm going to roll this to determine which edge, whichever way the D10 points is the way it's going to pick its edge. So this edge over here. Okay. The Japanese cruise or destroyer goes 7. I'm going to actually bring it in right here. That's 3, 6, turn, 7, and then turn. Okay, so this Japanese destroyer's got sight on the cruiser, but the cruiser's also got the rear turret. Has nothing on that, and and I think I should have just went much closer for a torpedo run. I want a torpedo run on that. And forget the guns, full bore. I made a mistake. Japanese have initiative, so in case they get really a good shot, I'm going to go from here to the cruiser. Is there any downside with ranging bridge to bridge when you have the length of the ship? Because this adds, let's see, 1, 2, 3 inches to the range when you're doing a rear shot. So 17 for the Japanese destroyer. So it does have its light guns. It has a side arc, so all 3 can shoot. They are weak. So let's see what happens. And yeah. Okay, so here we go. Oh, I gotta do the chant. So the Hampton is not stationary, it's not that. It is at long range, so -1. Not fast moving, so that's a 4, that's a 5. I did get a 6, but the what is it called? Dual purpose, right? On the destroyer, or light guns. Light guns are weak, so they can never cause criticals unless you're firing at a civilian ship. So that's 2 hits. Damage dice is 1. It's 3 and a 4, and the armor was 2+. So both hit on the cruiser, dropping it to 16. Had a mind blank there for a minute for some reason. Let me take these off so I know what's shot. Okay, let's take care of the destroyer. I don't think I have torpedo range. It's only 10 inches, so forget that. Let's just go for our guns because I know that that's going to be the target. This is, wow, 10 and a half. 10 and a half inches. So 10 and a half inches puts it at long range. That destroyer did not move more than 6. So it's a destroyer -1, long range minus, oh, I'm sorry, the Japanese cruiser did go. So it's -1 for long range, -1 for fast moving. So I get, and I do get my side shot, so all my guns can shoot off the Fletcher. So I do get 3 dice at a -1. I got 1 hit. Armor on the Japanese cruiser is a 3+. I got a 1. That's not going to work. Telling you, this scenario is just making the Americans not be very good. Okay. The Japanese cruiser is going to shoot at the destroyer. We said it was 10 and a half inches, so it's at short range, not point blank. And it's going to have its full guns, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 3, 6, 10. The light guns, it has a 6-gun barrage, and I'll roll those separately because that is a different rating. I'll do these first. What it was restricted mean? Restricted. The light guns are restricted for some reason. Aircraft, weapon traits. Restricted. DP. Oh, it just meant how many could fire, but I'm in my side arc, so. Okay, so shooting at the destroyer, it's at short range. So no plus. The destroyer didn't move more than 6. It is a destroyer, so a -1. So that becomes a 5. And everything else missed. That was not great. This can cause a critical. So anything but a 1, it's a 5, no critical. So that's a damage on the Fletcher. And then my light guns are at long range. So this is going to be a -2. Actually, that was 10. I rolled too many dice. I just need the white ones. This is a -2. So that's a 4. So I needed 6s. So 2 more hit. And damage dice were 1. Armor piercing, I forgot. Armor piercing is -2. So that becomes a 2. This becomes a 4. Both are fine. That's 2 more damage. So that's that. I did forget about the armor piercing. I got lost in the boxes. So remember, when you roll damage dice, you subtract the armor piercing value to come up with if it's a hit or not for the armor. So the weaker the gun, the less chance. And there's not a big difference so far. The cruiser, sadly, it's being hidden. It also can't shoot back through the smoke. So it will take its rear shot back this way. And that was 17, if I remember correctly. That is the one thing, once you get the range, you kind of give it away to your opponent. So be careful with this alternating activation, that you're choosing your shots wise, because you don't want to give away the range to an opponent. 17, the light guns are going to be out. That stinks. And I get 3 dice out the back at long range. So this was fast moving, long range destroyer, so a -3. So 6 minus 3 is going to be a 3. Nothing can hit. It's an impossible shot. Okay, we're on turn. I need a turn dice. This is going to be turn 3. This is an 8-turn game. The Americans, the smoke goes away. It only lasts for 1 turn. And the Japanese rolls for their other destroyer. It's a 5. Does not show up yet. Oh, what if it never shows up? That's a problem. Because then the Japanese can't win either. They'll get a minor chance. Oh, the Japanese have to sink them now. I messed that up as a Japanese player. 2, 3, Americans have initiative. This destroyer is going to go 1 inch. And I need to get this corrected. I need this to, since it's agile, line this up. Go 5. 6. 7. Okay. Get that thing turned into a Tokyo Drift a little bit. Let's do the American destroyer. He's going to go 2. Wrong way. Wrong way. Two. That's 4, 5, 6. 7. Yeah, you can go full 7. And I'm not going to pop smoke on him. I'm going to take the chance and see if I can get a cruiser volley. I think I need that to be more concerned. Definitely smoke, maybe if it was escorting an aircraft carrier. But that was cool. I just wanted to see what would happen. This cruiser is going to go slow. I think we're going to go 2. And turn this way. That's 2. Oh, let's get to some good volleying, shall we? 3. And turn it in some more. That puts it at 3. And I don't get a penalty for going faster, but I don't know. I don't want to go much further than that right now. So let's go. Yeah, I'm going to sit right there. The American Destroyer's got 6. It's going to go the full 3. And then it's going to this way. Turn a little bit and get the other 3. And turn a little bit more. So everyone's moved. Americans have the first go. I'm going to see if I can sink this cruiser with some American torpedoes. Can American torpedoes get at this? We are still at 10. And you know what? Let me double check. So when you're shooting, what is the actual nominated target? Within range. So, okay, before the steps official or nominate targets for every weapon system, then you check range. So you cannot measure until after you nominate. And I said I was going to let loose everything that way anyway. So it's extreme range for the torpedoes. That just is going to stink. But let's see what happens. So weapon system is torpedo -2. Extreme range -2. And it did not go fast. So it's a -4. If I roll a d6, -4, even on 6s, it's 2s. The torpedoes are done. I should have thought about that one differently. Okay. So the guns are in long range. Long range gives me -1. So -1. I got my side arc. So I got 3 attack dice for my light guns. I got a 6 and a 5, which makes that a 5 and 4. And I need a 5 or higher to hurt it. I got a 1 and a 2. Even if it didn't have a -2 for armor piercing, that thing was not going to do squat. Now the Japanese player. The Japanese player has an advantage because he knows that's 10. Cruisers, torpedoes are at short range. So I got side arc. I'm going to fire a volley of torpedoes here and here. My light guns here. And 2 heavy guns here and the rest, no. All my heavy guns here, light guns, and half the torpedoes split off that side. They are slow loading, so I will read you slow loading since I had the rule book. Slow loading means some weapons take an inordinate amount of time to reload. These weapons may not fire if they were used the previous turn. So every other turn they can be fired, which is fine. I want to see if I can get them before they move off the board. So let me do torpedoes first. Let's do white for the destroyer, and let's get some red dice for the cruiser. Okay, so white dice, it's a -2. It is at short range. So -3 here. Oh, that doesn't make any sense because it's not going to hit. So only on the cruiser can they hit, but I already declared that. I like playing, see how the mechanics work. So really, hitting a destroyer, you need to be super close to it with torpedoes, which makes sense because they're so maneuverable. So I need 6s to hit the cruiser. 4, 3, 3. Nothing happened. Let's get the big guns involved. Let's do the light guns. The Fletcher's at 3 health. I have a 6-gun attack. It's at 10, so it's at long range. So it's -2, and it moved fast, so -3. Oh, dang it. So 6. So that's not going to hit. It's going to be on 3. So all the light guns are going to miss. Okay, I messed that up. I should have thought through that better. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I need 10 dice for the big guns hitting the cruiser. They're at short range. And I do have large. Oh, no, you know what? Large silhouette because I have the side. So -2, -3, -4, -3. Torpedoes were short. So actually, I forgot large side. The torpedoes on the cruiser would have needed a 5. But on the destroyer, I need a 6 because it's -2, -1, -1. Right? 2 for a torpedo, -1 for fast moving, -1 for being a destroyer, +1. No, I still can't hit. And then for the side guns, I need to slow down and do this math better. Long. So it's -1 for destroyer, -1 for long range, +1 for side fast moving. So I couldn't hit it on 6s. So 6, I need a 3 to damage it. I got a 4. So the Fletcher is now at critical. Okay, heavy turret guns against the cruiser, and I'll roll for the crippled on the destroyer in a minute. So these are at short range. So I have big target +1. That's it. So I get a +1. So 3s or better. Okay, 3 or better. I got 3, 6, 7 dice. Hitting 2+, and I damage. And all but 1 hits. I do have 1 critical. So that's 3, 6 damage on the cruiser. Let's see. That puts it down to 10. And let's go and do crippled ship first. The attack play ships, light guns, and torpedoes and AA are now half. So it's now half. Roll a d6 for every light gun. So the light guns, it has lost. The destroyer has lost its light guns. It has lost radar, but it has depth charges. Not like that helps right now. Oh, no, light guns are just half. It doesn't have a main gun. Okay, so, and the destroyer is down lumbering, which, if I remember correctly, it loses an inch. Lumbering. Oh, it can only make 1 turn. So, to recap, the Fletcher is down to 2 health. It is now crippled. It is lumbering. Radar is out. And the attack dice for the light guns is down to 2. It basically lost some of its guns. Now the critical for the cruiser is a 10. So it's a vital system. Again, it's a chart. It tells me vital system. Vital system, D6. 1. The bridge is destroyed. It does the damage. So the Hampton is down to a 9. And it can issue no orders. Now, I will do this. Rearming the torpedoes on the cruiser. There are rearming tokens for slow loading. And there is engine room, magazine. I'm going to put this little red token. It says bridge hit on the Northampton to know that it's a vital system. If a critical hit is scored upon a vital save, things are about to get very, very bad for ships involved. These devastating hits can cause terrible and even terminal damage. So, the Americans are in a really bad position right now. Both ships have severe damage being put onto it by that one cruiser. But again, if you think about the points, this is 280 points. That's 280 points. So they are very kind of relative on points. I'm going to move this over here. See what happens next. And now the Japanese destroyer over here, I think it has no range. It's only got 12 inches. Nothing. I really misplayed that turn. I should have turned it the other way. So again, that's a reminder. A very tactical game. Think about your movement. You just don't turn on a dime. And as you turn, you lose some of that forward movement. The Northampton is 2 away from being crippled. It is going to take a full broadside into the Japanese cruiser, which was 12.5. That puts all the guns in short range. The light guns are at extreme range. And again, the American extreme range or long range is 11 for the light guns. For Japanese is 12. And so it just makes that little bit of a difference of 1 inch. And it does make a difference here. The Americans get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 light guns. So for the 6 light guns, I am at, I said extreme range, so -2. I do have the large silhouette, so minus +1. And he did not move more than 6. So I'm looking at 5 or 6 to hit. That is 3 6s. Now you roll some 6s. Now I need 5 plus to hit because it's the 3 for the Japanese cruiser. It has an AP of 2, so I need 5s to hit. I got 4 and 1. That's nothing. The turrets, I got 3 in the front, 3 in the front, 3 in the back. Gives me 9. This is going to be a short range, so it's a +1. So I have 3 or more. I hit. 2 missed. This is feeling good. And I need 3 or more to damage. They are much more heavily armed than the American equivalent, but that's still not too bad. 6 hits on the Japanese cruiser, which is going to take it down to 26 hits. That's that was 24. So Japanese cruiser's down to 24, which really doesn't feel like a lot. And entering turn 4, it's the end phase. Nothing escalating because it was a vital hit. But I do roll a d6 to see if the other Japanese destroyer shows up. 4, no go. Downside of scouting. Japanese roll a 6. Americans roll a 3. Americans got to go first. I'm going to push the destroyer out to 3. And he's going to pop smoke. Well, here's the issue. If I pop smoke, I protect the cruiser, but the cruiser really is not going to get shots back. I need to remove, but the Japanese are going to shoot first. So I'm actually going to move 4 inches and pop smoke. And see if I can get this off the board. The Japanese are going to move this destroyer 1. Again, I'm turned. And move 3 for 4, 5, 6, 7. And then just turn a little bit. The Northampton's moving 6. And is going to move the full 6. 3. Oh, do I want to move the full 6? Nope. Park right behind the smoke. I'm going to have a rear shot, maybe, and just kind of let it sit. Go like that. And the Japanese, I can't shoot torpedoes. I'm going to try to blow the crap out of that. 2. I'm just going to sit it right there. Try to take out the destroyer and take out the cruiser next turn. That's going to be the plan. Take these out. I'm going to activate my cruiser first for the Japanese to take out that destroyer before it can fire, because you do have that element 10. We're going to do a full broadside, everything in the arsenal. Let's move this on here so I don't have to stretch. 24. I have 6 light guns. This is going to be at 10, so it's long range. -1. It didn't go over 6. It's the destroyer, but I have large silhouette, so -1. So these are hitting on 5 and 6s. 2 hits. If both of these roll 3 or higher, it's gone. They both rolled 2. That was not very helpful. Here comes the big guns, which are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 inches puts it at short range. -1 for a destroyer, +1, so it's just 4 or higher. 2, 4, 6, 8. I don't foresee this being all 1s. 1, 2, gone. Devastated, blown up, gone. And the Americans cannot have a victory. They can go for a draw maybe, but that's it. The Americans get a rear shot at the destroyer. Oh no, because it's bridge to bridge and goes through the smoke. No shot. No shot, because it's going through the smoke. Line of sight cannot go through the smoke. I roll to see if the Japanese destroyer shows up. It's on a 5. That's a no. Americans get a 7. Japanese get an 8. Americans are going to move on a full 6. 3, 6 on turn 5. This Japanese destroyer is going to go 3, 6. Oh, I messed up. This one's going 1. Turn. 1. Turn. 5, 6, 7. Turn. The Japanese are very, 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 very agile, maneuverable. It is amazing the type of actions and turns they can make in this game with what they have set up. So I know the what was it? The destroyer is not going to have any real action. The destroyer is technically still on this portion, but I can't control 3/4, so I just need to blow up the Americans and win just because. Japanese have initiative, so of course this is going to go first. I'm going to fire everything, including my torpedoes on that side. And the distance is going to be a 9. Let's do torpedoes because that could just end it. Torpedoes are at short range, so that's a 0. The Americans move 6. The Americans, it is a large silhouette, so +1, -2, so I get a -1 on my torpedo shot of 6 dice. So I need 5 or 6s. I got 2 6s. Each one of these is going to roll 3 dice. So I'm going to get 6 dice back for damage. it is devastating. So I'm going to add these all up. If it adds up more than 9, which it does, boom, Northampton is done, sunk, kaput, out of action. So that's it. That was this round. Time was just about an hour, but I spent about 10 minutes at the beginning talking about the original setup. Victory at Seas, Japanese win because they blew up all the Americans. And this one was using the objectives. It was an interesting feel. I definitely see, I'm playing by myself, so I made some blunders in navigating. I do still think this is an awesome rule set. And this one was interesting because there was really like no criticals except for one, which was a devastating blow. But it really did feel like the Americans were on the run from the beginning and lost the cruiser at the beginning of the game. And that just devastated the crap out of it. So as a Japanese player, I would really weigh out. I would probably want to bring a decent number of cruisers so I could get that nice devastating fan attack, but also deploy them on scouting because the Mogami is going to get 4 dice on scouting, and that gives you a good chance of getting more 6s to get some bonuses. And you know what? I forgot their +1 initiative for the scouting. The downside is it never showed up. One did, one didn't. In this game, it didn't matter because the Mogami that started the game took out everything. This destroyer, I think, did 1 point of damage that was on the table. So it also shows you that Mogami was 280 points. It went toe-to-toe with 280 points of American ships. It was out-activated, but the initiative really helped to know which way it was going. So I really do enjoy this game. I wish there was more on the rulebook. I wish there was something to do with what else the ship cost. But that was this. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, like the video. And again, I'm going to ask, please subscribe to the channel. I'm doing a 200 subscriber giveaway. I have some miniatures that are piling up. Let me just show what I got right now. I've increased the giveaway. So I'm going to give like 2 or 3 boxes of miniatures to someone. I got some Blood Red Sky stuff. I got some Drop Zone. I got Cruel Sea sprues. I'm going to give someone a Constitution. So I am ready to do a giveaway. I really want to do a giveaway. I'm going to update my giveaway video. And any of my new subscribers, thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. You rock. And other than that, this is Matt from Dice Round Table. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Achievement unlocked. I wish I could do badges or something, but please, please, thank you for your time. Hope you enjoyed the battle formation for anyone that's looking for Victory at Seas. Don't forget, you can still pre-order it with Warlord. It's May 2020. It is. There's been some back and forth between June and July shipping. The last things I've heard rumbling from retailers and some other people is they're expecting it at some point in June. And so maybe June to retailers, or maybe that's when they're shipping, so receiving July. But either way, I think it's going to be awesome when it hits the shelves. It really has a nice feel. It has a nice feel to it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and I am going to end this now. Have a great night.